Happy Saturday, Eddie.
Saturday,
Good afternoon to everyone on the Saturday edition of COVID-19 Daily Update. First, I wanted to acknowledge a gift that was given to me from the Mask Warriors of Sylvan Hills and Second Baptist Journey Sunday School class, and their message is, wear your mask, protect others. And they sent me a mask that they have made, and they've indicated that they have made 4,000 masks, and where they're not busy doing masks, they are helping with the Children's Lending Library and a free food pantry. And so hats off to the Extension homemakers and the Second Baptist Journey class, and we appreciate the message that you've given. And that brings me to today. It is such an incredibly beautiful day in Arkansas that everybody wants to enjoy, and we hope that you do enjoy it. But these are the days that it's tempting just to say, well, everything's back to normal, we don't have to worry about anything. And the virus does not take any days off. The virus is still out there. There's still cases that are being developed, as we will see. And so it is important that even in these beautiful days and while we're out engaging, you've got to remember that we're still dealing with this pandemic. We still want to be on the safe side. We still want, as we've been encouraged, to wear our mask as well as to socially distance. And so that's important as we enter these spring and summer days. I also wanted to acknowledge Dr. Nate Smith, who is here, our Secretary of Health, and then go into our case update for today. Yesterday we had 3,747 cases. Today we're adding 237 new cases. That brings us to 3,984 COVID-19 cases in Arkansas. We have 64 hospitalizations, which is the same as yesterday, and we have 90 deaths, which is up 2. If you look at the 237 new cases that we have, if you'll go on to the first chart, you can see on the last column there that the white bar graph, part of the bar graph, is for those that are in the correctional facilities, and those in the correctional facilities was 173. And if you look at the orange part, the community contribution to that, it's 64. And so we're steady in terms of the community contributions and cases, but clearly we had a uptick in the cases. We knew those were coming, as Dr. Smith indicated, because CDC was doing testing in Forest City at the federal facility there, and I believe those are the cases that are being reported. There are 301 inmates now at the Forest City facility that have tested positive, along with 13 members of the staff. In terms of testing, we had another good day with 1,922 tests that came in. Obviously, we want to do more to make sure that we can get our objective of having 60,000 tests, which is 2% of the population, all in the month of May. So we've got some more work to do there. If you go on to the next slide, the 7-day rolling average, you can see again where we peaked on the orange line, and then we're going down, and then we have this slight uptick here because of what we see in the Federal Correctional Institute. If you go to the next slide, you can see the hospitalizations, and with our hospitalizations down at 64, that's steady. We reached our peak, and we're at a lower level now. And then the next slide is the number of active cases, and again, the active cases are those that you have your all of the reported cases that have tested positive, which is always a growing number. And then you have those that have recovered that you subtract from that, and that leaves you with the active cases. And so at one point we had, in terms of active cases, over 1,400 active cases in Arkansas. That number is down to a little over 800 in terms of active cases. And I believe there's another slide. That's all the slides there. And before Dr. Smith comes, I just wanted to make a comment that he's going to bring you up to date. There was a question yesterday here about large indoor venues and how is this consistent with what we're allowing to happen in the casinos with 33% occupancy, or 33% of capacity being utilized. And so Dr. Smith and his team, for consistency purposes, as well as being fair and consistent with good health guidelines for both large indoor and outdoor venues, effective May 18th, that will be revised to allow 33% capacity, so long as they submit a plan for that larger attendance to the Department of Health for review and approval. And then finally, in terms of our economy, this last week we issued 92,000 unemployment checks here in the state of Arkansas went out. And I not only checked the number of applications, but also the processing, and then the key test is how many checks have gone out, because that means people are getting the relief that they need. So last Monday there were 92,000 checks that were issued. I expect this next Monday that we'll have over 100,000 checks that are issued that will put much needed resources in individuals' pockets that have been laid off or are currently unemployed. And with that, let me turn it over to Dr. Smith for his comments and update.
Thank you, Governor. And it is a beautiful day today. I will give a few more details on the numbers that the Governor provided. Again, of our 237 new cases, 173 of these were from the correctional facility, in this case the Federal Correctional Institute in Forest City. Now, these are not new cases that occurred or were diagnosed in the last 24 hours. These actually had been tested by the CDC, and there was a few days delay in getting those results. We had already reported those because we had verbal reports from them. Now they're in our system, so they're showing up in our numbers. And 64 were from the community. We have no new counties. Of the 837 active cases, 275 of those are in correctional facilities, 88 are in nursing homes, and 474 are in the community. As the Governor has mentioned, we're at 64 hospitalizations, unchanged from yesterday. We have 13 individuals on a ventilator. That's down 1 from yesterday. And we've had 2 additional deaths, so our total deaths is 90. We have recovered, we have 3,057. That's up 89 from yesterday. Brief update on the nursing homes. We have had a total of 37 deaths in nursing homes. We have had a total of 286 residents who have tested positive. That's up 16 from yesterday, and we've had 166 staff. That's up 6 from yesterday. From our correctional facilities, the numbers from both the Cummins and the Federal Correctional Institute in Forest City are the same today as they were yesterday. I want to give a little bit more detail on our large venue, both indoor and outdoor directives. We've made modifications to those, and those will be posted by early this next week. For the large outdoor venues, which is in place, on the 18th, we will allow, currently they're limited to less than 50, and then on the 18th, we will allow up to a third of capacity, but if that's over 50, then a plan will have to be submitted and approved by the Arkansas Department of Health. And it will be the same for the indoor venues, which will also go into effect May 18th. So again, for both of those, less than 50, No plan is required, but above 50, but less than a third. A written plan, detailed plan will be required to be approved by the Department of Health. With that, I'll turn it back over to the governor.
Thank you, Dr. Smith. With that, we'll open it up for any questions. And let's go remotely. Are there any questions remotely? Sounds like everybody is enjoying the beautiful weather today. Is there any questions here? All right, so with that, let's have we did want to recognize Director A.J. Gary. Thank you for your continued support. And with that, let's have a good day. Thank you.